Troublemakers 2 is the sequel to the cult favorite indie Yakuza-inspired game from Indonesian developers Gamecom. Packed with some of the most delightfully bizarre what-were-they-thinking side quests I've ever encountered, I couldn't resist taking the time to highlight a few standout moments. Spoiler warnings, of course. The first side quest in the game, titled Romeo and Juliet, has you encounter an argument between a husband and wife. Things quickly escalate and he backhands her onto the hard concrete. Of course, being the man of honor that you are, you won't stand for this and quickly intervene. Once you run the husband off, the wife then proclaims that it's her fault he hit her because she never has his tea and coffee ready for him when he gets off of work. Somehow in this world, this is an acceptable reason, and you chase the guy down to bring him back. Well, he feels really bad about what he did and decided to reconcile by buying his wife some spicy hard-boiled eggs to make up for it. It only gets weirder from here, guys. You suddenly get the craving for some chicken and decided to hit up your favorite chicken spot. The shopkeeper is a wreck, saying she can't cook you anything because her big black cock ran all the other chickens away. You, of course, wrangle them up for her and are then confronted by the aptly named Big Black Cock. Once you dispatch of him, you come to find out that Big Black Cock was never aggressive till he moved to the city, and it's actually a cross between chicken and T-Rex DNA created by her father in a lab. Later on, while on the beach, you see that Big Black Cock has more than quadrupled in size and is in the ocean fighting Big White Cock in a kaiju battle to the death. You're then presented the opportunity to place bets on who you think is going to win. At the end, you're forced to shrink them both back down to size from the shore with a shrink ray. There, you're confronted with the father of the chicken shop chef who explains he can't go home ever again due to the radiation he was exposed to from making Big Black Cock and Big White Cock. I'm not trying to read between the lines here, but it's hard not to see what they were trying to say with this one. Another side quest has you dealing with unruly college graduates who are upset they're not making six figures after they graduated. You decided to help them and soon find out they won't take any job that they feel is beneath them, they won't move abroad for work, they won't work for experience only, and they've never even held a single job before. This frustrates you, so you just beat the shit out of them. Of course, there are normal side quests in this game as well. Fixing potholes, sweeping the local mosque, moving people's belongings during a flood, digging a living person's grave. I guess that last one needs to be explained. At one point during the game, you're tasked with helping some random girl move her belongings since she decided to move back home. The local men are upset by this for some reason, and a fight breaks out. It turns out she's a neighborhood prostitute and the men didn't want to see her go. You run into her again, and she asks you to help her dig a shallow grave. Once you're done, she attempts to self-delete in front of you. Luckily, you stop her just in time. She explains that she has raging syphilis and is too ashamed to return home. You take her to the doctors where you are forced to read what I can only describe as the textbook definition, cause, cure, and prevention for syphilis in great detail. The men arrive worried for the woman they all slept with and are all then confronted by their wives, who all now have syphilis. I told you, this game is bonkers. Staying in the cemetery, you hear the wailing of a girl in a tree. It turns out she's a lost spirit, a college girl who had aspirations of being an idol, but somehow managed to swallow and choke on a microphone and die. Her only way to the afterlife is to sing with a group and be noticed by the masses. But, well, she looks like shit. And the industry is very picky over girls' looks. You decide to take her to a shaman or a makeup artist or a combination of the two, I don't really know, who then gives her a makeover. With her new look, she starts singing and gaining attention. Unfortunately, it starts raining and all her makeup washes off and everyone scatters. Luckily, a group of guys hear her sob story and stick around and decide to go on tour with the dead girl, even with her current rotting corpse look. Once again, it's not all that bad. You get to help out a bull whose dream it is to smash cars, help a mother cat find her lost kittens, and play a light version of a dating simulator. The weirdness in this game never leaves though, as a side quest puts you into a first-person horror game as you attempt to escape a corrupted soul while blowing out candles in a university. It turns out a bunch of students died in this Jakarta university during the 1998 riots that targeted Chinese migrants. You know, typical side quest stuff. On a lighter note, you get to meet Indonesian Thanos, who collects 6 gemstones and manages to snap himself out of existence. Luckily, the Guardians of the supervisors of the solar system show up to put everything right again. Of course, I'm only scratching the surface of the off-the-wall craziness that this game offers, and I highly suggest you spend the money to pick up Troublemakers 2 and find out for yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Later.